Have you ever noticed that the more you care, the more everything seems to go wrong? You chase, you worry, you try to control, and life responds with chaos. But there is an ancient secret, buried in the pages of history, that can reverse it all. A forgotten philosophy, born from the silence of a man who faced the void and smiled. Michel de Montaigne wasn't seeking fame, power, or recognition. He was seeking peace, and he found something greater. What happens when you stop fighting life? When you let go of control? You don't lose. You finally begin to live. In this video, you'll understand why true spiritual power is not in conquering, but in surrendering, and how not caring might be the key to your freedom. His name was André. For years, he believed that if he was good enough, if he pleased the right people, if he controlled every detail, life would reward him. He woke up early, did everything right, smiled even when he was falling apart. But inside, his soul was screaming. Anxiety, insomnia, a constant weight on his chest. And the worst part, no one noticed, because he hid it well. He cared about everything, what people thought, what could go wrong, even what hadn't happened yet, until life forced him to stop. A diagnosis, a breakup, the job gone, all in a single month. And there, in the abyss, André discovered the emptiness that comes when everything you held up collapses. But what seemed like the end was the beginning. Because in the silence that followed, something began to emerge. Something no forced effort had ever brought. Clarity, peace, purpose. By stopping the chase, he began to see. By letting go of caring, he began to hear himself. And there, in the middle of nothing, he found himself. What André discovered by instinct, Michel de Montaigne wrote down with clarity centuries earlier. A man who isolated himself voluntarily, tired of the world's noise, and dove inward. While others waged war for control and power, he wrote, "My life has been full of terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened." He understood that the mind can be a prison or a monastery. And that detachment, far from weakness, is a radical act of spiritual freedom. This insight changes everything. Because if you don't need control, you don't need fear. And if you don't fear, no one can dominate you. But few dare to go this far. André didn't choose it. He was thrown into it. What about you? This wisdom isn't exclusive to Montaigne. In Taoism, Wu Wei is the state of non-forcing, effortless action, trusting the flow. In Christian mysticism, spiritual deserts reveal God when all else is silenced. In Stoicism, Epictetus said, "Don't worry about what doesn't depend on you." Inner freedom is the meeting point of every deep tradition. And the greatest masters weren't conquerors. They were the ones who let go of the need to control the outside world. They found the secret. The less you grasp, the more life flows to you. And the soul's algorithm doesn't lie. The more you release, the more you receive. But this is not passivity. It's presence. It's living with roots in eternity, not in chaos. Why do most people never find this freedom? Why do we insist on controlling the uncontrollable, even knowing it's destroying us? There is a biological reason, and a spiritual one. The mind was designed for survival, not for silence. But what if there was a practical way to reprogram it? Something Montaigne unknowingly practiced. André discovered it by accident. But you don't have to wait for collapse. There's a hidden key, a mental ritual that dismantles the addiction to control. And it begins with one simple shift of focus. But this technique, almost no one uses it. And those who master it are never the same again. Andre today is not the same man. Not because life got easier, but because he's no longer a slave to worry. He slept in peace for the first time in years. He began attracting real connections, not through effort, but presence. His energy changed, and the world responded. Neuroscience calls this a state of coherence. Spirituality calls it surrender. Montaigne called it inner liberty. And all these names point to the same place. You don't need more control. You need more surrender. Stopping caring isn't giving up. It's reconnecting with something beyond logic. It's living by faith, by essence, by truth. But what if there's something deeper than this? Something Montaigne only hinted at. A state beyond detachment. A silence that isn't absence, but absolute presence, where ego dies and spirit awakens. In the next video, we'll explore a concept forgotten by most, the secret practice used by saints, mystics, and sages to transcend the fear of death and live with eternal purpose. Get ready, because what comes next isn't about living better, it's about dying before you die, and finally, being free, unshaken.